Why some people just have difficult relationships. When you think about all of the people in your extended family, your circle of friends, or your workplace, you can probably identify quickly those to whom you feel closest. Perhaps the most apparent way, psychologically, to think about difficult people and their difficult relationships is provided by the attachment style framework. From this perspective, you relate to the people in your adult life in ways largely determined by the so-called working model that you developed about your own parents or other caregivers you had as an infant. If you felt you could rely on your parents to watch over you, then as an adult you would similarly feel that you can depend on the people you're closest to. This secure attachment style contrasts to the insecure styles, in which individuals felt that their parents might abandon or neglect them. Within the insecure attachment style, one might become the dismissive or the avoidant variety, in which you avoid disappointment by steering clear of close relationships altogether. Alternatively, you might develop the anxious attachment style, in which you're constantly seeking reassurance. The difficult individual would, according to this framework, most likely have a dismissive or avoidant attachment style. Attachment style theory assumes that the models we have of relationships are largely unconscious. Difficult individuals don't necessarily recognize that they're putting up barriers, but do so out of a long-standing need to protect themselves from abandonment. Using attachment style as a theoretical base, California State San Bernardino's Robert Rico and Anthony Sierra, 2017, investigated the role of argument beliefs in understanding how the securely and insecurely attached navigate conflict. Presumably, more difficult people would also be the most likely to steer clear of conflict, but, once in conflict, they would use less constructive methods of resolution. Rico and Sierra were particularly interested in contrasting anxious and avoidant attachment styles as predictors of the type of tactic individuals would be most likely to use in conflict. The 4 conflict tactics investigated were the options of dominating, avoiding, integrating, and obliging. According to Rico and Sierra, avoidantly attached individuals should be less able to handle conflict for several reasons. First, they have a distrustful view of others, figuring that they're not really all that loyal or caring. And finally, avoidant individuals stay away from situations that involve conflict because on an unconscious level they don't want to be seen as in need of relationships. Using self-report measures to examine attachment style, conflict tactics, and argument beliefs, the team obtained data from a sample of 449 students whose ages ranged from 18 to 56, with an average age of 24. Compared to people with the anxious attachment style, the avoidantly attached in the sample were indeed likely to regard conflict as devoid of benefit. People in the avoidant attachment style cohort were more likely to avoid conflict, as might be expected, and when they became involved in conflict, they were more likely to use domination as a conflict management style. Allergic to close relationships of any sort, they push you away, and when they do interact with you, they are argumentative and insist on having their own way. In general, people who perceive arguments as having a potential benefit are more likely to use integrating and obliging tactics, which tend to lead to more positive outcomes. Let's return to the problem of the difficult individuals you must deal with in your daily life. Say you have an in-law who seems to reject you every time you make friendly overtures to her. This person is not willing to engage in the kind of casual chats that people who see each other frequently can enjoy, and when she does, you often feel like you've said something wrong. As with the surly in-law, you frequently feel like you've said something wrong or offensive, and it doesn't seem possible ever to exchange a friendly word. In the case of difficult people we deal with on a regular basis, the Rico and Sierra study suggests that you try to think about why they are so cold, or mean. Fulfillment in our personal relationships is more likely to be attained when everyone behaves nicely, but even difficult people can show their softer side if you know how to reach them.